Welcome to Unplugged Podcast, where Jesus is at the center of every conversation. Join us as we explore the teachings of Christ and the impact on mental health, spirituality, and everyday life. Discover how faith in Jesus can help provide hope, healing, and purpose in a world full of challenges. Subscribe now on YouTube and your favorite podcast platforms to stay connected to the Unplugged community. Unplug from the world and plug into Jesus. Hi, mental health warriors.
Hello.
Welcome to Unplugged Podcast, where we critically discuss the intersectionality between faith, mental health, and politics. I'm Jasmine, your mental health enthusiast.
And I'm Dr. Kelley.
And thank you in advance for your time.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So today we have a pretty intense episode for you guys, for your mental health warriors. And it's discussing the very controversial Kanye West. In fact, the title...
Yay.
Oh, I will not be calling him Ye.
Oh, the artist formerly known as Kanye West.
Sure.
Okay.
But you won't be getting any yay out of me. Absolutely not.
Oh, man, what's wrong with that? Ain't that what you was calling him before he was...
No,
you just called him Kanye?
I've always called him Kanye.
Man, I'm listening to that yay.
No, because he started getting weird with the Yeezus and you trying to...
Oh.
You know what I'm... Like, I'm not doing that with you.
You're right.
He started calling himself a god and saying that he's Jesus. And
Jesus.
Absolutely not. It
Oh,
won't
Lord.
Be me. See how the slippery slope is? I don't call... And Jay-Z tried to pull the same thing.
What about Charlemagne the God? Charlemagne the God.
I think Charlemagne is a bit more humble, even though he calls himself the god.
Oh, okay.
So...
I got you.
I think he's not giving himself he's not calling himself like riffs off of Jehovah or
right. Jehovah. Right.
You know
I get you.
If you're trying to use the word God in a certain way, I can rock with you.
Before I got saved, I thought that was ingenious. Jehovah? I'm like, the God MC? I was like,
Absolutely.
wow. That's,
So again, there's a difference when Rakim, the God MC, versus Jay-Z calling himself Jehovah.
Right.
See,
Well,
I can rock with you.
Rakim was basically, he's a 5%er. So
yes.
he worshiped, he followed under the teachings of the nations of the gods and earths.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Again, I can rock with you as long as you're not trying to ascribe yourself as the Most High.
Yeah, Jehovah, right.
Though when you start crossing that, we got a problem.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Sense.
So,
as you can see, it's already controversial. We ain't even told you the title of today's episode yet. This guy, I kid you not. So today's title is Why West?
Why West?
Why West? We got a lot to talk about, Kanye. Most of our mental health warriors know I'm from Chicago.
Yeah.
Pastor's from Detroit, and we both happen to be hip hop heads. This
platform
platform is
so.
uniquely structured to try and address very nuanced topics of mental health, and it doesn't get more nuanced than what we've witnessed happen to Kanye over the past decade and a half, maybe longer. It might be.
The last few years has been horrible for him.
Actually, it might be 20 years. It might be 2 decades at this point because he lost his mom at 2006.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so it might be a full blown.
So you tracing it all the way back to then?
When it comes to matters of mental health, it is a compiled experience inside of your brain.
Okay.
So you kind of have to trace the origins of your trauma to figure out how you got so advanced in the darkness that you live in.
Okay.
So for you and I, we can trace it back to our childhood.
Oh yeah.
We don't even have the luxury of understanding what Kanye's childhood was, or if there was anything traumatic aside from what he released last year in a very distasteful admission of what happened with his cousin.
Or some of the things that's probably blocked out. Some things that his memory won't even allow him to assess, especially. Yeah. And you just brought that to my attendance, my attention. That's crazy about the cousin.
That's
wow.
And I say distasteful not because I'm shaming him for speaking his truth on what happened to him, but because of the way that he presented it and not a fashion to encourage healing or to inspire others to talk about their trauma, but to monetize and sensationalize something that was extremely graphic and hard.
Yeah.
There's a way to talk about it to where it can be helpful to others.
Yeah,
and that's not what his aim was. That unfortunately, artistically, that was not what seemed to be the motivation. It was more to monetize.
I didn't even see it. I'm sure he monetized off of it, but I didn't even see it as monetization. I just saw it as just a crack in his psyche. Like, I saw pure craziness, if you for lack of better words. And I know we're talking about mental health, and crazy is not a term we want to embrace, but that was crazy. I mean, it was out the blue. And to me, it was a warning signal that he was not healthy. He was off his meds. He was off his system. He was off because,
And it wasn't an open letter to people that were also suffering from child abuse, sexual abuse, incest. You didn't make it an open letter to open this conversation within your art. And when I say monetize it, he sensationalized the entire album as being the first producer to have an AI-produced album. So, he didn't make any of those beats. He didn't even write the album.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
He handed all of these ideas over to essentially AI, and this is what happened. So that means you got on the phone with somebody that owned an AI company and said, hey, I did stuff with my cousin, and just let them write it. So this wasn't even genuine in the sense of you're not opening yourself
I never knew that. I never knew he made the AI album.
He's the first producer to do it. So,
oh, wow.
And that's what he wanted to monetize off of. And it's like, yo.
Wow.
Of all the albums that you want to open up about trauma on, you did it with a computer?
Right.
How are we supposed to receive this?
Well, maybe because it's not real. Artificial. I was telling.
How you gonna have your most vulnerable moment be artificial?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I was talking to a pastor yesterday. I was like, we're moving in this world of artificial intelligence, and in a world filled with artificial intelligence, people are going to be in search for emotional intelligence, especially when it comes to the church, because I believe AI is going to start seeping more into the messages, the sermons. And all of that. So, yeah.
Did you hear about AI creating a religion?
No.
AI created a religion.
Oh, really? And who's the God?
I don't know.
Oh, wow.
I didn't do any more research. I just wanted to make sure that I told you, since we talk about AI, you're a pastor. Google the religion that AI invented.
Well, I'm glad you did that, because I'm actually working on a sermon series entitled AI, because there's a city in Joshua called AI. And it was at AI that they fell. Like, they had just conquered Jericho, and they did all of that, and they got the AI, and it was just a handful of them, and they kept getting destroyed. And they had to figure out why. And so,
Yikes.
But we're going to talk about artificial intelligence. But,
We are. So, hey, if you're interested in visiting Hope Houston, we're about to go deep over here. We have an AI conversations within the space, so I love it. But on a more serious note, there's a lot that we have to unpack when it comes to Kanye, because he did recently take out an ad in the Wall Street Journal and issued an apology to the African American and the Jewish community. And this is a topic that Pastor and I have covered on the podcast before, about how these communities are owed an apology. But unfortunately, the break that has happened to Kanye mentally affected not just the African American community and the Jewish community, but it had ramifications and for all of Chicago, for the Latin community, because of the policies that he supported and pushed. So I mean, and to be quite frank, I'm so happy that he apologized to at the African American community, the Jewish community, but the apology has to be illustrated with sincerity by action behind it. Unfortunately, we've seen apologies from Kanye before, and they seem to predate an album drop, which
right, he's just like almost a reinvention of himself, right?
Right, and it inspires you to want to listen to the music to see if there's more apologetic tones being geared to these communities that he's hurt. But that's a way of monetization as well. So,
was the gospel album a answer to something crazy he did? Like, when he came out with the gospel album, was that like, did something crazy happen, and then he said, I'm gonna be the first Christian billionaire or something. He said, I don't know.
Well, he had the mental break before the gospel album, if you recall. He was actually in a mental institution.
That's what it was.
And then he came out with he actually did an interview on David Letterman where he was talking about how a lot of this music in the industry was demonic. And so he wanted to produce music and strip away demonic elements.
Right.
Like,
and
he
I'll
started
never go back.
studying demonic elements, like the bass lines that are used and the chanting that's in between the beats of that they put in there and things like. He was very specific about what he knew about the industry, and he said, I'm going to start producing music that is on a higher frequency that honors God. And then it evolved from just doing an album to I'm building a church.
Okay.
And then he
Sunday
built a church
service.
and built Sunday service and got a choir and all of that. And I was so happy because I felt, wow, Kanye, you're having your moment with your creator. You're realizing that you had breaks and you're trying to fix what's broken with Christ, which is the message of every follower of Christ's life. You invite Christ in and he fixes what's broken. And that could be the story of your life. It could happen instantly. It could happen over the span of all of your days. But that is the story of Christ, to be a healer and to be a waymaker and to come into your life and change it. And I feel like it didn't stick. It not only did it not stick, but it pushed him to a place of even deeper arrogance, where he started saying that he was God, he was Jesus, was, you know what I mean? Like, it pushed to a place where you took credit for your own salvation. You took credit for you walking out of that mental institution. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I agree.
And we cover this in our last podcast, where if you, when I was speaking with Pastor Penrice, please check out the prior podcast episode with Pastor Penrice. Despite it all, keep going.
Yep.
Absolutely phenomenal episode, very inspirational. But we talked about the challenge of forgiving yourself.
Yep.
And if you don't forgive yourself, if you don't have that moment with Christ where you have the deep conversation of thank you for forgiving me, and Christ telling you to forgive yourself and teaching you how, then what you'll do is you'll become your own savior. You'll say, oh, I did this stuff. I did this stuff. I can fix it. I can do this. I can do that. I can fix it this way. I can do this. And it's like that. It makes the sacrifice of Christ null and void.
Wow.
He paid the cost. There is no recompense. And to be very clear, there's no recompense that you can ever do to fix the things that you say you want to fix.
Nothing.
If you stole money and you give money back, that does not give them back the time.
Yep.
That does not give them. That does not erase the trauma of you stealing from
Yep.
some. There is no recompense that you can humanly do. So for you to deceive yourself to say, "Oh, I can fix it. I can do this. I can do," that is a trick of the enemy. And it's self-guilt that's wrapped in pride, where you don't depend on Jesus to save you and to pray for the people that you've hurt and to teach you what needs to be done, but you are becoming your own savior and you're putting your salvation in your own hands, and it's based off of what you do or what you don't do. That's not how any of this works.
Not at all.
Right?
Not at all.
And if you let Satan trick you into believing that, that's when you get to the place of, well, Lord, I healed people. I went out to nations. I preached the gospel. I did this.
I.
And Jesus is like,
Me,
I never knew.
me. Right.
I never knew. I knew why you did it. You didn't do it because you loved me and you were following my commandments. You did it because you were trying to be your own savior.
Yep.
You didn't trust me to pay the cost. You didn't trust me to do what needed to be fixed in your life. And you became your own God. And now you're arguing with God about why you deserve to be in heaven because you did all the stuff. Get out of my face.
That's exactly how it is.
That's exactly how it is. And I pray for those people because they feel as if they're righteous, but they are living in sin. They are absolutely, and they're doing righteous things. But they are living in sin.
Because the whole motive of those righteous things is not God.
It's not God.
You know, he's like, listen, less of you, more of me. You know. Period.
If your motivation for doing good things isn't because I love God and I'm following his commandments, if it's anything other than that,
man,
you are not righteous.
Man, I be looking at these so-called Christian influencers,
Yeah.
and they brand is bigger than Jesus. I don't see. I'm telling you that. I mean, I see they logos and they QR codes and they websites and all that type of stuff and they books, but I don't see that Bible. I don't see them. They're not even selling. But I don't know what they got going on. But I'm a Christian influencer, but I'm selling myself. And the truth about it is, Christ is not for sale, so they can't really sell Christ. They are, but yeah.
They're not selling Christ. They're selling them.
They're selling them.
They're using Christ's name to sell themselves.
Exactly.
And oh Lord, fix it, Jesus. Fix it, Jesus. But I believe, and again, I don't personally know Kanye. I'm not attempting to speak about him to tear him down, but I am going to speak on his situation because it applies to others. And if we don't use this platform to be an advocate for others that are going through mental illness, then we have failed. We are not living up to the mission that God put on our hearts to do. So I want to say this clearly, and I hope that my mental health warriors understand. I'm not here to tear down Kanye. I'm not here to speak on him as if I know him. But what I am going to do is I'm going to speak about his situation, and I am going to speak about what it means to reconcile after you've had breaks. I'm also going to speak on how we are responding to Kanye as a nation, as a people, as people that are also struggling with our own things, because I think our response needs to be adjusted according to what's factually true about what happens in the mental health community when breaks happen. So that's the goal for today's message. I know it's very nuanced and very true, but we're going to try and take this step by step. And it's probably going to be our most clip-heavy episode yet because I am not a doctor. I don't have a doctorate. I do intimately understand mental health.
Yes.
And so I'm here to lend my voice to that and to share information from people that have deeper accreditations in the field and have deeper experiences what it means to live with more severe brain injuries that can lead to mental health issues.
I like the topic.
Yeah?
Yeah, I love it.
We're going to do the thing.
Okay.
So, Pastor, if you'd be so kind, let's talk about the apology that he gave, and not necessarily just the apology itself, but what he's speaking towards as the origin of his mental illness.
Okay, yeah, I think we got a video clip about that. Let's go ahead and play that clip, and let's see what Kanye got to say.
Kanye West, now going by Ye, took out a full-page ad in the Wall Street Journal apologizing for his anti-Semitic outbursts and revealed something huge. He says a brain injury from a 2002 car crash damaged his frontal lobe, went undiagnosed until 2023, and contributed to his bipolar disorder and erratic behavior.
Yeah. So to make sure we're on the same page, the clip that we just saw was in reference to the Wall Street Journal apology that he, again, paid for, where he cites that he's come to the conclusion that the origin of his bipolar disorder that was found 15 years later is when he came out and stated that he was diagnosed. He's saying that the origin of it was from his car accident in 2002, where he shattered his whole jaw. He shattered his whole jaw. He was in the hospital. In fact, his first album, College Dropout, his first single was Through the Wire, in reference to the wire that they had to use to wire his jaw in order for him to even be able to speak anymore. But Pastor, before I give any commentary, what do you think of that assessment?
Well, I am aware that brain injuries can cause mental illness.
Yeah.
I'm not here to say that brain injuries are mental illness.
Right.
Now, what I need clarity on, because to be honest with you, I am tuned Kanye West out. I don't know if this attempt for reconciliation or whatever he's doing is. I think it's probably falling flat on his face because people are so turned off and tuned out. But what I'm not sure about it is he saying that the injury that the car accident caused a brain injury which caused his bipolar, or is he saying that because of the injury he went into a depression because I know some people that'll break an arm or break something on their body or get some type of injury, and that causes the depression.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying.
And so that's what I'm trying to understand, because if he has a brain injury and it has not been healed or it's irreparable, then there's no help for him.
Yikes.
But if the bipolarism is a result of him going into a depression because of whatever, his face was changed, he had different things, he lost his mom off of different types of, if that's what caused it, and then he went undiagnosed and didn't get help, and then he just got more and more severe, and that's something totally different. Then there's help for him, in my opinion.
I think the answer is sadly both. He's done interviews about what he went through after the incident. His face, of course, healed differently, so he never looked like himself again.
Right, he did look off. Yep.
His face was puffy, and the healing, he's never looked quite the way he was supposed to. And he went into how that did absolutely cause depression. What I will say is, if we're looking at it as an either-or situation, it can be both. It can be, I had this accident, I don't look the same, I don't speak the same, I literally use my voice as an instrument to make money, and I have to adjust being in the public light, not looking or sounding or feeling like I ever have before in life.
My God.
And I have to give 100%, otherwise I'm not going to make it.
That's good. That's a good analysis.
So there's that. And then you take that, and the fact what he's saying is, when the impact of the vehicle happened, it also caused brain damage. And there wasn't comprehensive scans done after the accident to see if there was brain damage. You would need an MRI, you would need a CAT scan, you would need several things in order to be comprehensive enough in your testing to know if the accident affected more than just his jaw. And those things were never done. And as a Black woman that has gone through several challenges with her health, if you're not vocal in that ER, if you're not vocal in your doctor's office to say, no, I want you to scan me for everything that my insurance covers, you need to do a scan for, because this could have impacted me in other ways. If you're not vocal, or if you're not engaged in your own health in that way to be aware that that's maybe something that should happen, this is not uncommon. There has been several instances that I could point to of people that have just had normal interactions or been doing their job, had an accident, there was not comprehensive scans done, and it absolutely can be progressive into mental illness. To answer your question, I think what happened was there was brain damage. The brain damage affected the chemical balance in his brain.
Right.
And that has to be rectified medically. So he likely had continual challenges with his brain attempting to work the way it used to. It failed, and whatever was wrong with the chemical imbalance continued to progressively get worse and worse and worse, causing emotional irregulation, impulse control issues, and he cites some of those specifically inside of the apology.
Okay.
So yeah, I think it's both.
Okay. Well, I'm now that you say it like that, I agree that that's possibly the case. Yeah. And you would think somebody with the amount of resources, and even at the time of his accident, he was not the mega star. He was a mega producer. He was good on the producer, but in front of the mic, he wasn't what he is now, or he would be. But even then, you would think that after the accident, they would have did a thorough evaluation of what is, his brain health and everything. But even then, 20 years ago, we've come so far in our understanding and even our communication about mental illness, whether we're going through it ourselves or people we know. And so the fact that he wrote that letter, that open letter, to me just talks about the times we're in where somebody can openly admit that I am mentally ill.
Man.
And then a lot of people was doing it, they get in trouble. Oh, I'm in rehab, or I was mentally ill. They would use it as an excuse. But something tells me that he believes what he's saying.
Yeah, and we're going to dive into the whole narrative of using mental health as a quote unquote excuse. That particular narrative hits me in a special way, man. It hits me in a very special way. But the good Lord knew what chips to put on my shoulder, so we're gonna talk about it. But needless to say, I want to touch on something that you mentioned: access to resources. So Kanye was a producer at that time. I'm in Chicago. I remember Kanye and his mixtapes and him producing beats for other artists and trying to get on. And I want to say this loud and proud, and I hope everybody hears me. Access to resources does not replace you being vocal and informed about what you need.
No.
It does not. You can be the richest person in the world, and if you don't know what to say in that doctor's office, you're not going to get what you need.
Facts.
And not only that, the richer you are, the more vulnerable you can be to people taking advantage of what you need and you not being educated enough to speak otherwise.
Yep. Or because you have unlimited resources, you're getting what you want instead of what you need.
Instead of what you need,
mm-hmm.
i.e. Michael Jackson.
Ooh, Lord. That's we need to do a whole episode on him.
Oh,
you know that movie's coming out, right?
I can't wait.
Oh, my God.
I'm going to see it. You going to see it?
Yeah, I got to,
we
man.
gotta see it.
It's the first one that looks like real. Like
Michael.
Yeah, I'm like, okay.
Flexos, that's all an apology. That was crazy. That was crazy.
Yeah, I don't know what that was.
I don't
that was a
appreciate
check.
what I
that
saw
was a
with
check.
my own eyes.
He was trying to feed his family, man.
You know what? Feed him another way.
Now, do we blame Flex or do we blame the casting people, the people who casted him to do it? They couldn't find nobody else. I mean, but hey, you know.
Listen.
He's historic behind that, that's for sure.
Oh, my God. For the wrong reason.
I need to go on Tubi and see if I can find that.
Why is it on Tubi, Jesus?
Everything
that
is on
lets
Tubi.
Us know why. That lets us know the quality of this film.
Oh, my God. Tubi got some hood classics on there, man. I'm telling you, Tubi got some classics on there. New ones and old.
If it wasn't for Sister Alicia, I wouldn't even know about Tubi.
Tubi is
shout out to Sister
I can
Alicia.
go down the rabbit hole with Tubi. I see some good and some crazy stuff. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I'm elevated now. I made it. I got HBO Max. I'm watching, Game of Thrones.
I love it. I love it.
I can't do it. But to speak more towards being an advocate for yourself, don't think money replaces being vocal in that room.
It doesn't.
It does not.
It doesn't.
You need, if you really want help, you're going to have to invest in doing some research and education on potential symptoms that you have that could be potentially this. And you need to come in equipped in front of your doctor to say, listen, I read this on the internet. I know not to trust the internet with everything, but I want you to test for this, and this.
Yep.
And you can help me dissect from this list what you feel is most likely.
Yep.
But we're not going to ignore my symptoms, and we're not going to ignore at least what I've learned thus far with what's going on in my body. Nobody can speak up for you like you. Not your mama, not your daddy, not nobody. And this happened to Kanye when his mother was alive, who was his biggest cheerleader. So again, you have to be able to advocate for yourself. And if you don't get anything from this podcast, please know Jesus Christ is invested in you as a person. He loves you, but you have to also invest in yourself.
That's a fact.
And make certain that you're walking in your anointing and you're walking in your purpose, and you take that with you in everywhere you go, up to and including your doctor's office.
That's a fact.
Don't let the medical industry play you, because they will.
And you know what? And I know we're going to get to the next segment, but one of the issues I always had in my history with my mental health and trying to get the right type of, diagnosis or the right type of prescriptions or whatever, I never had the language for it.
Right.
And here's the thing. I would get on YouTube and I would research depression and research this, and I'm like, man, that sounds like me. That's me. And I'm going through this, and and I never could have the language. And so what I had to do was I had to start writing things down.
Yes.
I had to create some type of mood journal or whatever. Because the truth of the matter is sometimes your brain be so foggy, you can't come up with the next word as opposed to what I was feeling last week or how I was feeling yesterday. I can't even tell you how I feel because my brain is so scrambled and so fogged up. I understand, and so that's the whole purpose why we doing this podcast is because we want to give language to people. We want people to see what we're talking about and identify, get some help, empathize. Because man, I mean, everybody ain't like Kanye. Everybody don't get, and this guy's a cat with 9 lives. I mean, he done destroyed his reputation and rebuilt it. He said, I'm uncancelable, and I'm starting to think he might be, but who knows? But maybe this last letter of reconciliation is proof that he has been canceled and he trying to get back.
Well, now his pockets are affected, so.
Ooh, Lord. He started messing with them JEWs.
Oh, Lord. I mean.
Jehovah's Witnesses. You know what I'm saying?
Ooh, Jesus.
He started messing with them folks, and he's seen what the power of the purse can do.
Well, he's banned from touring in the U.S.
That's cold-blooded.
And by the way, I know a little something about the music industry. Artists don't make a ton of money, even if they're independent, off of album sales.
Nope.
Artists make their money off of tours. And if you can't even tour in the U.S.,
your home.
Yikes. You can't go to Israel and tour. So now what? So you can't go to U.S., you can't go to, sir.
And he was doing all that stuff to prove a point. I mean, Black Ku Klux Klan, hoods and, anti-Semitic T-shirts and, saying crazy stuff, saying that I can't be canceled. And guess what? Them Epsteins and them Rothsteins and you know what I mean, they got him and showed him what it was.
Here's the thing. Again, I'm not Kanye. I don't know him. I'm not a doctor. I can't tell you why he did it. Aside from the most obvious motivation that both of us could come to, which would be money, but or infamy.
Man, he crazy.
Right, he's crazy, and crazy Kanye, and that's marketable.
Mm-hmm.
But I can tell you how it managed to happen despite common sensibilities. I have a friend or two with impulse control issues, and it is so debilitating.
Ooh.
It's actually debilitating. These people have found themselves unemployed for making decisions that they didn't understand why they made. That if, had they had a moment in time to be able to have impulse control, they wouldn't have made those decisions. And you think that you're being hard looking on them from the outside, and you have no idea how hard they are on themselves because they didn't have the ability. That same impulses that you and I have, we have a moment to sit down and reassess and talk ourselves out of it and say a little prayer. That moment is not available for people with impulse control.
Yep, you're right.
And so while we look on the outside and we judge their decision making, they don't have the same decision making process available to them as we do without medical intervention. And it is so debilitating. They find themselves unemployed. They find themselves ostracized. They find themselves really down and out, having to depend on family to be able to even live. Or they end up on the streets. And it's heartbreaking because different choices have to be made in order for them to have a quality of life. And they have to get to the place where they're making those choices on their own. And without some level of intervention or support, it's not likely to happen.
I know of a young lady who had a really bad manic episode. She was bipolar 2, and she dealt with mania. And this particular time, she was off her meds for a while. And talk about impulse control. She was saving to purchase a home, and she emptied out her bank accounts, just started spending wild, just, out the blue. This was somebody who was disciplined. This was somebody who was educated. This was somebody who lived a structured life all her life, and then she got ill. Her mental illness started, her bipolar started going unchecked, and all of a sudden, she emptied out her bank accounts. She was doing all of this sporadic, impulsive stuff. And then she came to, and her whole world was shocked. She woke up with, it wasn't like she blacked out or whatever and didn't know what she was doing, but she couldn't stop it. She was manic. And so she spent all the money she was saving to get this house and, bought all this stuff. And she was became extremely like promiscuous and like stuff like that, like risky behaviors and just impulses that was zero. It was zero of who she really was. Like that was not who she was. She had never been like that before, but all of a sudden her mind just switched on her and it got the best of her, and she was so impulsive. And it took her years to dig out. In fact, I think she even still recovering from it. I mean, it was extremely wasteful. It was like people was like, "What is wrong with you?" She would come, she'd be full of energy, and it's just she just up, and the people that don't understand what she's going through, they think she's just happy and stuff, but she's over here buying stuff, spending this, doing that, and ruined her whole entire life. And everybody on the outside end was looking at her, "You stupid, you dumb. I would have never done that. Why you do that?" And not understanding that her mind turned on her. Yeah. If our brains have the ability to build pyramids and create things that's seemingly impossible to the common man, how can we stand up against something so powerful if it turn on us?
Man.
If the brain that can build a pyramid, which we trying to figure out how it was built, turns on you, what chance do you have? And that's what happened to her.
It's heartbreaking.
It is.
It's heartbreaking. And suicidal tendencies are so prevalent because once they get to a place where they're not manic and they're rallying down,
that was the issue.
They realize what has happened.
Yep.
They have no one to blame but themselves. Yep. And so the first thing that they want to do is end it because they don't know how to fix it.
Yep.
Or it could be that bad where it's like, is it even fixable?
It was rough because like maybe a third or half of that money that she saved was like an inheritance that was left to her from like a grandmother or somebody. Yikes. For that very purpose. You know what I'm saying? Lord. School or home or whatever. And she felt so worthless and so done afterwards. And I wasn't who I am now, but in hindsight, I know what she was going through, and it was devastating. But yeah, she they put her in some type of ward for a few days because she was suicidal and talking about injuring herself and stuff like that, and it was rough.
My heart goes out to every single person in the mental health community. That's why we get this equipment. That's why we have an episode.
Yep.
That's why we're committed.
Yep.
And that's why we have the messaging that we do, because we want that olive branch between our faith and our mental issues to be present every day. We really and be there for the people that are struggling. And Pastor and I tend to do that in our personal lives, but this platform allows us to reach all of you.
Absolutely.
Because there's some of you that have people in your family that are struggling with mental health issues. There's some of you that are listening to my voice that have mental health issues. And it's a community that's worth love. It's a community that's worth support. And it's a community that's God bless you. It's a community that's worth reaching out to. That being said, I want us to be able to have conversations like this where you can talk about a person like Kanye in a way that is both empathetic and holds him accountable. And so often the society that we live in like to do one or the other, and they feel as if it's competing. There is no competition in between empathy and accountability. There is none. And we have to work very vigilantly to challenge that mindset that you have to choose one or the other, or if that you give one versus the other, it erases the other. That is not true. You use your empathy to hold people accountable. That's how that works. And if you're not able to
use your empathy to hold people accountable, that's good.
You use your empathy. If you are simply holding them accountable without empathy, that can be cruel in certain instances. And if you are just being empathetic without giving any level of accountability, you're an enabler. So you use your empathy to hold them accountable, and you do so in love, just as scripture indicates that we all should. So I want to be able to have us be educated to see this through a different lens. There's a clip that I've prepared to make sure that we understand what it means to live with a brain injury and to understand what Kanye is attempting to reference there.
All righty.
Gosh, that's bright. Right, you ready?
I may forget your birthday.
I may get frustrated the way you underestimate me.
I may need a little longer to process what you've just said to me.
I may always be on my phone, but I'm just trying to take notes on what you're saying.
I may get distracted in the middle of a story you really wanted to share.
I may start talking about something completely different, but it's because I can't remember what I was saying.
I may look the same as I did.
I may look like everybody else.
But not all disabilities are visible.
A brain injury can affect people in so many ways.
All I need is a little more time.
A little more understanding.
A little less judgment.
Be kind.
Be patient.
Don't misread the signs.
See
the hidden
me.
Oh, wow.
So that was from the Brain Injury Association, and those were real life survivors that decided to come up with a message to communicate what it means to live post brain injury. And there's so much nuance with mental challenges. There's injury, there's disorder, and then there's the strain of mental health. But we are a singular community that has challenges that requires a certain level of empathy in order for us to be able to connect with you, and in order for us to be understood. For many reasons of what challenges I've experienced mentally, though I'm high performing in realms of work, right? And I assure you, I'm not attempting to be arrogant, but I have reached a certain level in my career where I have been acknowledged for the amount of productivity that I have, and with all of that, the challenge that I have is my memory.
Oh, yeah.
In addition to anxiety and depression and things
Short
like that.
term or long term?
Short term, primarily.
That's weed. You're smoking too much weed. That's
I can't with this guy. What am I supposed to do with him here?
I'm just
Carolyn, come get your husband. Come get your husband, Carolyn. No.
Trust me, I should know. Anyways, there you go.
For people that have legitimate mental health issues that affect their memory, that have nothing to do with substance abuse. One of the things that I have to do is I actually have to text myself.
Good.
When people talk to me, I have to text myself. And I remember I was at a work happy hour, and someone saw my phone. I just text myself, and I'd set my phone down.
They saw you text your talking points.
Someone saw my phone, and they're like, "Oh, you have a text message from Jasmine Garrett," and I was like, "Oh yeah," and I grabbed my phone, like, "You know another Jasmine Garrett?" I'm like, "No."
But stay out of my business.
And they're like, "Did you text yourself?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
You must work around nerds or something, because I just don't get it. Like, stay out of my business.
It's a very heavily invested industry.
Oh, okay.
But that's one of my challenges that I have. So I have to
Me
find
too.
a way to cope with it.
Me too.
I gotta be creative and find my own coping mechanisms. When I went through the high level of depression that I told you about in Florida after my grandmother passed and I was ruminating, one of the things that I was going through with the everything that I was diagnosed with, my memory was being destroyed, which affects your intellect, by the way. So that's bad news for people that don't want to go to the doctor to get help with depression. Your memory and brain fog in combination can be affected so drastically.
That's a fact.
That you are now losing your ability to communicate.
Yep.
You're losing your ability to retain information.
Ask me how I know.
It is the scariest thing, especially if you're someone that relies on your intellect heavily for work.
I mean, I used to, hey, listen, I'd be going through it and I'd be like, man, do I got Alzheimer's or something? Do I got early onset dementia?
Like, I went to college for this, or like I've done dissertations on this, or like, and now I have no information available. It was the scariest thing. And I was in an environment, especially in Florida and Miami specifically, where it is a very
competitive.
Sure. There's a word I'm sure out there, and I'm struggling right now to find it. But it is competitive, but it's more so a challenge of self-worth. It's more so like, I'm smarter than you, I'm better than you, that's the environment that you're in. So you're constantly, if you're in conversation with someone, it's not a conversation where you're looking to exchange information and pleasantries,
right?
But the person is looking to find a way to make you feel less than, so they can feel better than.
Ooh, it's
really disgusting.
That's not good for mental health.
As I said, I had to leave Miami. I went to my boss. I was like,
I don't think I want to stay there either. That's crazy.
I will not. You couldn't pay me enough money to move back. There's no amount of money. There's no amount. You can't tell me that Lucifer himself don't have a house off Southport somewhere. I'm positive.
So you ain't even going on vacation?
Never.
Oh, wow.
I won't even.
Well, I'm glad you told me.
You know how you can take a flight and it has a layover? Mm-hmm. I will not take a flight that even has a layover in Miami.
Man, that demon that sit on that region over there, man.
You won't get me. It can be somebody, but it can't be me.
Wow, I never knew that. I learned something. I never knew that was
Jesus.
I thought you left for a whole nother other reason.
I left for a lot of reasons. I mean, a lot.
Man.
I can't even. I won't name them all. But yes, I left for a lot of reasons, and it's probably the worst place to be if you have depression. In fact, if you move there, you likely will get depression. But anyway, enough about me. What we just saw were clips where it's helping us understand what it's like to live with, a brain injury. Mm-hmm. And Kanye is attempting to express this in his open letter.
Right.
And I encourage you to go and read the open letter. Unfortunately, the Wall Street Journal charges you if you want to read it online. So what you're likely going to have to do is Google it and then look at images and read the actual image of the posting. But he's speaking of moments in time where he does not have memory, meaning he had gaps in memory.
Ooh, Lord.
Complete conversations, complete days, complete months where he does not have track of what occurred. And I empathize with that deeply.
See, once again, my brain is doing it right now. See, once again. My preaching style, me becoming a manuscript preacher, where I write everything down from the top to the beginning, was germinated because of my issues with mental illness and me going up there, and some people call it a brain fart or whatever it is, me going up there and losing complete tracks of thought, time, everything.
Hey.
So, I mean, I could work on the stuff right now and read it and recite it and do all of that and practice it, and practice it and do all that type of stuff. And then I get up there and I lose it all. It just runs right out the room. And at first, I used to be very insecure about that because I was like, man, God, I'm looking at all these other ministers and stuff, and they're just flowing off of their paper, and they're doing this, and they're doing all of that. And I'm like, God, why? Why can't I be like that? And he was like, well, one, I gave you the gift of writing, and this is how I speak to you. But two, I don't trust your brain enough to just let you get up there and you not say what I told you to say. Because you'll get up there and start speaking from you instead of speaking from me. But what I learned was it became not a crutch, but it definitely became a help for me to write things down, to have bullet points and notes. Even if I'm well researched and I'm well read and I know my topic, I still have stuff because I might get off and I need a guidepost back. And that's all because of the way mental illness shaped my brain. I truly do believe that my brain has been changed forever because of all of the years of misdiagnoses, undiagnoses, unprescription, self-medication, and all the stuff that I was going through to help myself, that I didn't know I need help, help myself in ways I didn't know I need help. When I joked about weed, but I wasn't smoking weed recreational. I was smoking for mental health. It was allowing me to focus. It was allowing me to be a little bit more freer and in an area, and I could take my mind off of what I was thinking and do what I was doing. And then, just like anything, those things become crutches. Those things become a part of your life that you need to function. And so, mental health has shaped my brain. Like, my brain is not the same size, it's not the same shape, and it's probably not the same color because of mental health.
The color.
I got a gray brain. I don't got a pink brain. I got a gray brain.
I don't know if that's how that works, Pastor.
That's how it feels. It feels like my brain has been dipped in the ink of depression. And it's gray. It
does color. It feels like it colors a lot.
Yeah.
And I think the point of acceptance of that is probably one of the scariest moments where, like, you think back of how your brain used to work and what you're capable of, and you're like, there's no way that I'm capable of less today. And you got to look in the mirror and be like, it actually is possible that you're capable of less today. And so accept that. Now what are you going to do about it? Yikes.
Yep. And so here's the thing. What happens is, when we go undiagnosed and we go untreated, we start building our lives around the mental illness. So so I start doing things that help me live with the mental illness. So instead of going to get help so that I can retain my memory, I started writing notes and things and stuff like that to help me so that I can memorize.
Yep.
Instead of getting the medication and doing the things I need, I start drinking or smoking weed or doing this and that. And that becomes my self-medication, my prescription. And so instead of me getting the help I need, instead of me getting treated, instead of me getting diagnosed, I'm just doing whatever I can to survive. And these things have been working, at least it appears to be in that time, but over time, it changes the way we do things.
Absolutely. We're running into time, so I'm going to just reference this verbally instead of playing the clips, but we had people like Joe Rogan, and we had people like Rhymefest, who was a personal friend of Kanye prior to the fame, speak on their suspicions of his brain injury 9 years ago. And I'm bringing this up because you may have friends or family that are voicing concerns to you about your mental health. And I want to urge people to not disregard it. I really do. And this is coming from the person that genuinely does not care what other people think. I'm missing that part of my brain that has like that.
God
response.
has blessed you, right?
I am. I'm genuinely missing that part. But for the people that he's never gonna stop finding that funny. But it's true. But for the people that I love, the people that I know intimately, the people that know me best and my character, if they are bringing concerns to me, especially more than once, especially more than one of them that don't even know each other, this is where you have to have a logical moment to say, wait, there's no way that there's like some sort of conspiracy to make me feel bad about myself when these people don't know each other. These are coming at different points in time. And it's coming from people that I love and I trust, and they're trying to inform me of something that I might not be seeing with my own two eyes. That's logic. That's not self-deprecating. That's not being a follower. That's not capitulating to a larger narrative of others. That is you using your logical brain. And my concern when I see a lot of these bouts of mental illness is, why didn't you have a moment of logic when people came to you? Why did you take it as personal offense or take it as them overreacting? Why is it that you couldn't take 2.5 seconds and realize who was? This is a moment where the messenger matters, right?
Okay.
Normally, I try not to focus on the message versus the messenger because Jesus can use almost literally anyone.
Yep.
But this is a moment where the messenger matters. Your mom, your dad, your pastor, your significant other, your siblings, your best friend that you've had for over a decade. If these people have loved you and supported you through hard times and have poured into your life to see you win, to see you be healthy, to see you be well, and they're telling you that you're not, you don't have a valid, logical reason to ignore what they're saying to you, aside from your own ego, right? And again, this is coming from somebody that doesn't care what most people say, but the messenger in this point matters. So if you're just a random person off the street and you're trying to convince somebody that they need to go and get seen about mental illness, you're probably not the right person to be able to have that conversation.
Right.
But if you are someone that is close enough to someone to notice that there's been a difference, I ask for you to please find it in your heart to receive what they're saying, or at least consider it in a way where you at least have enough motivation to prove them wrong by getting a medical diagnosis.
You know what? I just want to push back just a little bit because I understand exactly what you're saying, and I know of experiences that you've dealt with this too.
Yeah.
My only thing is, like, sometimes when you dealing with the messenger matters.
The messenger matters.
The messenger.
For something as sensitive as this.
The messenger definitely matters. But however, when you're dealing with somebody who is really sick, when I got the flu, do you think the flu care who my mama is? You know, when I'm sick, do you think, you know, my mama or my daddy or my wife or whoever it is that I have, you know, given space to have influence over my decisions, or at the very least I'll listen to them. That illness does not matter what they say to me. They could say, get up, take this medicine, or here's this medicine, or this and that, or feel better, don't do that. And none of that matters because I'm dealing with the flu. I'm in the bed, body aches and pains. I'm going through it. And then I feel like sometimes, and Kanye West is a special case because he's got unlimited resources and everybody works for him and things like that. I get that. But when you are in the throes of your mental illness and your mind is telling you one thing, your mind will tell you that the person that you're supposed to be listening to, the person that you listen to your whole entire life, the person who never steered you wrong, is wrong. And so what happens is our mind, which is not a healthy brain, it's a sick brain, is tuning out what it is we're supposed to be listening to. So yeah, my mama, I might be in the throes of schizophrenia, and my mom can get me to sit down and say, listen, baby, you're not yourself. You're talking to yourself. You got this going on. I'm looking at you. This is what you think you're normal, baby, but you're not. It's not looking how you think it's looking. You need help. I want to get you some help. And my brain I'm looking at her, but my brain is going wonk, 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 wonk. And yeah. Or my brain is like, you just trying to get me to take that medicine so y'all can keep me, you know, docile and this and that. And so I understand that, but sometimes we so sick that we can't help ourselves. Oof. We can't listen. We can't. My brain is so soaked in the depression. My brain is so sullen and so dark, and I'm so down that no matter, my wife could speak into me and speak scriptures and say, you know, you're great and you're this and you've done all this and you've helped and done all these things. And my brain is like, man, whatever. I ain't trying to hear none of that. I'm about to kill myself.
How is that better than just, I don't get it. And
it's not better.
This is
so that's what I'm saying.
Went through depression.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So it's not better. Like you like. Here it is. Sometimes your brain won't even allow you to get the help that you need. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not better.
Okay, so let's talk. Let's address the suspicion that you just voiced.
Okay.
You just want me to take the medicine so you can keep me docile.
Yep.
Let's unpack.
That's never been my argument, but that is an argument.
I've heard that argument.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to challenge it, and maybe I want to understand it before I challenge it. And maybe you're not the person to do it because it didn't come from you. But what benefit is anyone getting by keeping, quote unquote, keeping you docile?
Mm-hmm.
I would want to understand that because I'm trying to figure out how that's a valid reason to be under consideration,
Well,
even with a broken mind.
Well, yeah.
Because if you are docile, that means somebody else has to take care of you. And it's 2026. And I just don't see a line of people trying to go out there and take care of somebody else,
right,
with them trying to hustle and make it for themselves.
Right.
So someone would have to explain that to me slowly.
Well, see, once again, the mental illness is communicating something totally different. That's why whenever I'm dealing with somebody who's in the throes of mental illness and I'm speaking to them, I always make them repeat to me back what I just said.
Oh.
Because once again, I might say something, but you're listening
You're hearing
differently.
something else.
So once again, depression has a unique way of turning oneself inward. So everything is about me. So when you say, well, why would it benefit me to make you docile? Well, all I'm saying in my mind is I know how I feel when I take that medicine. It might not be your motivation, but the fact that you want me to take that medicine, and when I take that medicine, I feel like this, that's what you're trying to do.
Do you see the vast difference of communication that just happened there?
Yep.
That is a world of difference.
A world of difference.
It went from I'm accusing you of wanting to make me weak and different than I am, and you're the problem, to actually, no, I really just don't like how I feel when I take the medicine. That is...
But once again, no. But here's the thing: that's what's actually really happening. But your brain is telling you they trying to do it. But your body and your mind and how you actually feel is what's really being communicated. Is like for example, Adderall. Some people take Adderall like it's candy. I can't.
No.
I have some Adderall that's probably 3 years old,
Oh,
and it's as needed. They prescribed it to me that I'm supposed to take it all the time. I take that stuff one time and I'll be up, and man, I'll move the world. I can move a mountain in a day. I can clean the house, wash the cars, the dogs, do everything all at once. But as soon as I come down, I'm in the bed for the next 3 days. Whatever dopamine or neurotransmitter I had left that they used, they squeeze the last drop of it, and I have nothing. I'm depleted. And so that medicine tells me I can't take that stuff, man. If I take that stuff, I'm done. I'm wiped out. I might, if I need to get something done, I'll take it. But I just know the days after, I'm done. I'm no more good. And so my body and my response to it is I'm wiped out. Yeah. But if somebody's trying to insist that I take it, the disease is telling me they're trying to do something to me. Now, that's somebody who's dealing with schizophrenia. That's somebody who don't have the language to say, and there's somebody out there, that is not old enough yet, but, to talk about how medicines and stuff make you feel. You know what I'm saying? But if I don't have the language to say, man, when I take that medicine, it makes me feel this, I'm going to just jump to conclusions. That's what my brain is going to do. And it ain't always accusations like you trying to do this. It's just my brain like, nah, dog, that ain't what you need. I need this freedom. I'm moving, I'm shaking, a person that's manic, a person that's normally an introvert, and they get manic, and now they're able to get in public and talk to girls and talk to people, and they don't see how they looking, but they able to do stuff that they normally haven't been able to do. They'll look at you like, man, you crazy. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Kanye used to call his manic a superpower.
He did.
In his mind,
it makes you feel powerful.
Yeah, he was able to get stuff done. There's no wall, no obstacle that can't stop him. He's fearless. Yeah. But he's reckless. And that's how I feel. I feel like when somebody is really truly mentally ill, they are sick. And if your brain is sick, your brain is not healthy. And if your brain is not healthy, then that means your brain is not going to work. Yeah. And so you said that's red, I said it's maroon. You said it's blue, I said it's green. Jesus. That's how it is. Yeah, you got on the red. You're like, man, this shirt is red. No, that is not red, man. That's bronze. That's how our brains talk to us, in my opinion.
Well, no, I can concede to that. Mm-hmm. I guess, and I appreciate you breaking that down, because I think what we need to do at this point is compile, like, maybe a few very useful tips as to how to address someone that might be going through it. And number one was a tip that I gave to the people that may have a concern about their own bodies and their own health, whereas you have to be vocal and research and walk into your doctor's office ready to engage in a focused conversation about your symptoms and what type of testing you feel that you deserve to discover what might be the problem. So that's point number one. And I think point number two, what Pastor just said is so very important, that when you're talking to someone that you are concerned might be going through a manic episode, when you communicate with them, you ask them to respond back to you what you're saying so you can make sure that you're actually on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
And that is extremely important. And I learned that today. I think that's such a valuable tip to have. And I'd say maybe another point that might be worth discussing or worth investigating when you're trying to reach someone is do an assessment of the people that are bringing you concerns. How many of them are there? Do they communicate with each other? And maybe you can justify ignoring one person. Maybe you can ignore justifying two people. But for me, I do a 3 strikes you're out rule. If more than 3 people have come to me and y'all don't even know each other and you're telling me about a concern, I have to at least consider it at this point. And if I could give a tip to someone that's going through it, maybe you should follow a 3 strikes you're out rule as well, where, hey, you know what, I'm comfortable ignoring my mom on certain things, or I'm comfortable ignoring my dad on certain things, but I can't ignore my mom, my dad, and my best friend. You know what I mean?
But once again, that is still coming from a mature and healthy standpoint. Because my friend who had that manic episode and she started becoming super promiscuous and reckless with her sexuality, she was having fun. She thought that what she was doing was cool. You know what I'm saying? Not cool, but she didn't see the negative benefits or downsides to it in that moment until, remember, some people have bouts of depression. So a bout is for a certain specific time. So for those 2 or 3 weeks she was in that manic episode, that bout, when the smoke cleared and she looked at her bank account and looked and seen this and, have to go to the clinic and might be praying, all this old crazy stuff. She like, what in the world was going on? And so remember, our brains is our filters. And so that's the reason why I will ask, and even I got my wife to adopt this too. If I'm going through some type of mental episode or whatever we have an important conversation, she'll say something and ask me to repeat it back. Because sometimes my brain is filtering it differently. She said, go down the street, turn right and turn left, and that's what you're looking for. And my brain is telling me, she told me to go down the street, turn right and turn left, but she only doing that to control me. Or I heard, go down the street, turn right, and keep going straight. Because my brain is filtering something totally different. And so we can be in the same room listening to the same things, and our minds communicate something totally different. And so a sick person is a sick person. And, we just got to give people the grace, and we got to give people the language in order to describe what they're going through. But oftentimes when I'm in that fog, when I'm in that head place, when I can't remember, this was just recently. Within the last 3 weeks, I remember I was so foggy in my brain that I couldn't, put together, sentences. You know what I'm saying? My speech was choppy, I, had to pause and think. I would be talking to my wife, and then all of a sudden I'd be like, man, what did I just say?
Oh, no.
And I'd be like, man, do I got dementia or Alzheimer's or what is going on? But really it is, my brain is just overwhelmed. Yeah. My brain is overwhelmed with the fog, the sickness. And so we talked about in church today, the valve. That's why communication, that's why having somebody you can talk to. And the people that, like you said, the messenger counts. That's so key. Yeah. Because I might have some authority figures in my life who I, like a father or a parent or a friend or a religious figure who I respect, but they might not have a true understanding of what I'm going through. And so when they speak to me, they speak from a standpoint of, oh, just pull yourself up. Oh, it's going to get better. Go to sleep or whatever. They got some generic thing. But talking to somebody, being transparent, like, man, I suffer from depression, like mental illness. Like, it'd be days, like, I don't feel like getting out of bed. It'd be days where I don't want to shower. I don't brush my teeth. I don't want to do nothing. I just want to lay in this thing. And when you find somebody you can be transparent about that to, when they speak to you, it's a whole different conversation. Because certain people you judge. Certain people you judge. So they gonna judge you. Excuse me.
Well, and this is something we talked about before as well, where we want to encourage people to build authentic spiritual relationships with their pastor. Because, again, and I gave you the criteria of what it would mean for me to commit myself to a particular body of Christ, a church, what it would mean for me to commit myself to a particular leader, spiritual leader, a pastor. And if you build an authentic spiritual connection with them, they're able to speak with you not just in what they see, but in what God communicates to them. And that can be a difficult conversation to receive, but it's worthy of having, and it's worth being on the other end of if it's designed to prevent you from a pitfall that you might not be able to get yourself out of. So I definitely want to encourage that for sure. And I know we're wrapping up on time here, but I will tell you, please do come back for part 2 of Why West, because we're going to dive into the actual written apology. We're also going to dive into the substance abuse that occurred and how that affected what's happened with him. We're also going to discuss the follow-up interview that he had with Vanity Fair after he posted the apology in the Wall Street Journal.
I got some homework to do because I missed that one.
Yeah, and then we're going to talk about the accountability and the empathy, and what are we doing as a society to be able to respond in a Christ-like manner to scenarios such as this. And again, this isn't necessarily about us picking apart Kanye, because that's not my authority. I have no interest in that, especially when someone's attempting to be vulnerable. But I definitely want to make certain that I speak on what's occurred, because it isn't uncommon. It happens in our community, and we need to be able to understand what we can be doing to be supportive, to be understanding, and to take these conversations to places where it's impactful and helpful to the people that are suffering through it. So thank you so much for your time, mental health warriors. Let's make sure that we can get through this together. And we'll see you for Why West Part 2.
Absolutely. Talk to you later.
Welcome to Unplugged Podcast, where Jesus is at the center of every conversation. Join us as we explore the teachings of Christ and the impact of mental health, spirituality, and everyday life. Discover how faith in Jesus can help provide hope, healing, and purpose in a world full of challenges. Subscribe now on YouTube and your favorite podcast platforms to stay connected to the Unplugged community. Unplug from the world and plug into Jesus.